Oh, I thought we were doing it again together.
We should.
I don't know if we can
On the
time
count
it
of
over.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
Yo, we're so good. We're way better than the other guys that do this show.
I agree. They're all has
Fired.
They've been replaced.
Who you think you are? So when do you guys, you ready to start?
As soon
Ready
as
to
you
do
are.
this?
Oh
All
god, I
right.
got nervous.
You know what?
Sorry.
Am I close enough? Hello and welcome to Strange Gaming's Happy Hour. Today we're talking about tech news and gaming, and I'm your host, John Pettit, Handsome John, and on my left,
Michael Tumbleweed Kepley,
and on my right.
Krystal. Queen Krystal.
That's right.
the hostess with the mostest.
Well, how about that? Hostess with the mostest.
Hey, girl, hey.
And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this world today, and we're just too busy to know everything. So we decided to bring it down a notch. I'll explain this later.
Okay.
I was going to do it at the end this time because I didn't want it to be in the fair. But, fine. Fine. Okay. All I'm drinking today, because all these guys want to drink, is Mountain Dew and water. So I'll be the one to introduce the whiskey. I was going to make it a big deal, but I'll drink alone here. I guess technically I'm not alone. But Eagle One Whiskey, it's a Kentucky bourbon. It's actually very good. I never had it straight before. I've always had it because it's always mixing something. So wanted to try it straight and see how it was. It's actually fairly satisfying. Not too bad, especially for a, I would say probably a higher end low bar. Doesn't burn too bad. But anyway, thank you, Mark, for your contribution.
Where is Mark, by the way?
That is a good question. He said he was going to the bathroom, and then that little snot decided to slip off and go to the Bahamas.
The price he pays is whiskey.
That's right.
He
And
deserves it.
I fart in your pillow. You'll find out when you get back.
Think
That's for lying to me and not taking me with you.
Don't
But,
touch anything.
That is an important part. Thank you for bringing that up. But not as important as everything else in this world. And today we're going to talk about
The important
And first up today, we're going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. There has been a not confirmed sequel.
What happened to the clicks?
Oh, you're right. Hey.
Oh shit! Edit. So do you guys want to redo that? No, I don't give a shit.
That would get us.
Honestly, you're not supposed to cheers without alcohol anyway, so I just naturally didn't want to do that because that's like kind of like bad manners when you're at a table with
I didn't know that.
alcohol.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not bad manners, but I was always told just not to do it.
So
Yeah.
I beeped it all up.
So y'all bleeped that all up.
Krystal, if every time you want to use a cuss word today you say beep, that'd be wonderful. Honestly, we should do that. I'm going to do it.
You
I'm in
God,
it.
just don't. Just get rid of the beep. It
Well,
worked
that's
all the same.
beeping lame.
Beep.
Anyway.
You know what else? What beeps? Robots in Horizon Zero Dawn. So there's been a kind of a leak gone on. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but Janina Gavankar, who is Eden Versio in Star Wars, who also plays a character in Horizon Zero Dawn with Guerrilla Games. I'm sorry, I had a blank right there for a second. She said that there's a sequel coming. Everybody's getting really excited. There hasn't been a confirmation yet, but we all know it's coming. But the way she was talking about, like, it was coming soon. And Horizon Zero Dawn came out in February of 2017. They just released their numbers as of this past February. They had sold 10 million copies of their game. So they earned the right to a sequel, and we think that it's definitely going to be coming up here soon. Probably 2020 if it was to be my guess. I don't think it'll be next gen, but it would be cool if it was a game that they use for the PS5.
So you think they're going to just jump straight into the sequel, no more DLC?
Yeah, no, DLC's done. I don't think they're going to. The last DLC was good. Don't get me wrong, but it was just a placeholder, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was something that was
That's what I think is interesting. Sony just kind of reconfirmed that God of War will have no DLC.
Yeah.
Just as it is. So
it was a good game. It sold what it was going to, and I don't think that they have a reason to do so.
Yep.
They told the story that they wanted to, and they put in the work that they thought they needed to.
one day I'll play it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You haven't, what?
I haven't played Horizon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about God of War. I was like, we've had discussions about this.
I watched a guy. No, Horizon I have not played yet.
Horizon
One
Zero
day.
Dawn is amazing.
Yeah.
One of my top 10 games of all time, for sure. Yeah. Upcoming
Game
up is
Club.
Ubisoft. Games of Service is the best for their type of service for them. Unfortunately, for some people, they think that the Games of Service model is going to be the future of gaming. To me, it sounds like it's kind of like a catch-all, but they say that, you know, because that they don't have to recreate everything in the beginning, they can keep adding and it'll be more beneficial for them in the end monetarily to give us more content for what it would cost. Rainbow Six Siege, for instance, they've been going on how many seasons now?
Forever. It's like season 6 now or something.
Yeah, it was like 6 or 7, and they've been really successful at it. It's actually been kind of like this hidden gem that no one really talks about, but everybody plays for some reason.
Yeah.
I see a lot of action on Twitter, but he was saying that they want that over sequels, and I had a problem with this thought process because sequels can also use a lot of this old style models or whatever they're doing and put it into the new game and then put in different mechanics for whatever didn't work in the first game. And I don't understand why they believe that would be different unless you can tell me different.
I really don't know. See, I think it's a slippery slope because, like, Rainbow Six, while it is very successful now, at least in my opinion, it was a big fluke when it first came out. So I just don't want it to become this, like, excuse that developers have to be like, sorry, our game sucks right now, but Season 2, we got you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like the slippery slope that could happen there. With that said, though, you know, I take a game like For Honor, which the way they're describing it right now seems they're going to take the Rainbow Six approach.
Yeah.
I loved For Honor, you know, and they've grown with this game so much. They changed the way the servers are hosted in multiplayer. So, like, to see this game where I know that this game that I love the idea of, it just was poor execution at first. And eventually it'll come back and probably be wonderful, and I can go back and enjoy it again. So I do have hope for things like that. But
it's a little surprising with like loot boxes, microtransactions having such a negative connotation to them, especially in the news and in other countries where they're even trying to ban them or they're trying to limit them, you know, considerably. Kind of weird move, especially for a company that's based out of France, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, while I agree, I think that's like very much an opinion-based topic right now. Is like, are loot boxes bad? And I mean, we've talked about it on the show before.
Well, I just find it weird that he would say that he would prefer that over the normal sequel type stance.
I think that in the evolution of games, I think it could be a better call. Like, I think about how much better it would be instead of me having to go buy a new Call of Duty every year. Call of Duty just integrates seasons in, and I can maybe pay $30 to get this whole slew of new content, new maps and stuff like that. I think spend more time on it. So I think in a long term, it could be a better solution, but it ultimately comes down to like the execution of said company.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things change, and companies change, and you know, Sony, they're also a part of change. And right now, they're letting us change our usernames. What? Our PSN usernames can now be changed. Some of people actually, there was an update to it. Huh?
Asterisk.
Yeah, right. They've been changing all the names that violate their terms of service as well. And so if you are found to violate the terms of service based on, you know, whether it's a dirty name or like an abbreviation or whatever it is, they'll do it for you and give you temporary XXX, which is number, whatever it is, and then you'll have to change it yourself in order to use it. If you want to change your name, you can revert back to it at any point in time, except for the ones that violated the terms of service. If you have any troubles with save game data, or if you have any troubles with leaderboard stuff, or even the games won't start in general, if it was made after 2016, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2016. April of 2016, you would not be able to revert back in order to play those games without having some kind of major game save data corruption. So you have to be careful if you want to use this service. But you can, for the most part, in any of the games that you do this on, you'll be able to revert back to your old name. No one will be able to take it from you, so you don't have to worry about that. And after the first time is free, but after that is $10 for every change of your PSN name.
Yeah, which I actually think is impressive in a lot of ways, in the fact that I remember with the Xbox, you know, all of them, I think they were more expensive than $10. And then also, if you changed your name, like someone could just come behind you and snag it because it became available, which was like a big thing that kind of upset me with Microsoft because I lost a gamer tag that I had for 10 years. Granted, I got complacent and I changed it. Yeah. So, like, it's on me. But then someone came behind me and took it. And I was like, well, so that sucks. But it's also interesting for everyone listening that they have a list of games that they, from my understanding, are going to continually update to tell you games that you will be affected on if you change your name. because that is the asterisk for it. Is some games, when you change your name, you may not be able to earn achievements, you may lose stats. And for the most part, I think a lot of the games were insignificant. Like, they weren't brand new games. The big one on the list for me was Grand Theft Auto 5. I believe they had problems with. A lot of people play that, but then like other ones are like...
It was like Uncharted 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, and I think a Gran Turismo.
And then it's like MLB The Show 17, and it's like, well, we're at 19 or something now.
99.9% of the games that are critically affected are not even being played right now.
Yeah.
And they're being played on a super, like, and for the most part, if you revert your name back to the original PSN name while you go to play a retro game that you have in your library for PlayStation 3 or an older PlayStation 4 game, you'll be most likely safe. No problem.
I'll probably be changing my name, so woo.
Not me. I'm
not.
going to stick with it, baby.
Well, mine is just like, because before the days of Tumbleweed was the days of Grr. And so now in some cases I'm like Grr, I am the Grr, some iteration of that. So it's just like trying to unify everything down to the world of Tumbleweed, and PlayStation has let me do that now. So what up?
That's what got me so mad about Xbox, because I had my Xbox and my PlayStation named the exact same. No numbers, no crazy things. It's all letters, all one word. It's great. Keep it Lone Wolf, baby. That's
Heck
it. But then they lost. I went actually back to Xbox when I was thinking about going back to get the Master Chief Collection and an Xbox One just for that. They wouldn't let me because someone else.
You got to start updating everything to Handsome John.
I don't know. I like Handsome John as the moniker on here, but Keep It Lone Wolf has a place in my heart.
I feel it's the Xbox Uncaged Animal, bro. Rest in peace. Whoever's got it now, you're blessed.
You know who else is blessed? Disney, making all this money coming up with Disney Plus. Tell me about it, buddy.
That's a 10 out of 10 right there,
Yeah.
honestly. 10 out of 10.
I like it.
Mine were worse because I was actually thinking about the information.
So after all this time, all the waiting, we finally, in I think it was some kind of press conference call, we get Disney Plus details, and I cannot be more stoked. I don't think it'll phase Netflix, but it is going to do some damage.
Yeah.
Disney Plus is going to come out, I believe it's November 12th. It'll be at a price point of $7 a month. Netflix's cheapest package is $9.
Can we just take a step back real quick, and what is Disney Plus?
What is Disney Plus? So Disney Plus, good call, is a new streaming service from Disney. They took all the stuff from pretty much all the Marvel movies off of Netflix, a lot of the Disney things, and they're consolidating all of the Disney universe into one. So it's some outrageous number, but like to get an idea of it, they own, what is it? I forget the news station that owns The Simpsons. They own them. So all 30 seasons of The Simpsons, boom, on Disney Plus.
That's
You
cool.
want to watch The Avengers? Disney Plus. You want to watch Star Wars? Disney Plus.
Fox sold The Simpsons too?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So all 30 seasons of Simpsons are on Disney Plus. That's confirmed. They've got a new.
That makes me feel
They got the new Star Wars show, The Mandalorian, coming out on it. They just announced that this weekend. Also talk about that here in a bit. But pretty much anything National Geographic, all that's going to be on there if you like, educational stuff.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So it's a ton of neat stuff. Pixar movies will be there. So it's just like, for me, and growing up with that, it's like, this is everything I need. This is the easiest $7 I'll ever spend. I can rewatch all of these movies a ton.
Can we just implement that into requiring children to grow up now watching Disney movies? And not these crazy, like, let's go be psychopaths.
My kids are watching Ren and Stimpy.
So what's interesting about this is this kind of confirms people's suspicion to where Disney Plus will be where Disney can keep being Disney, and they're going to, in a lot of people's minds, transform Hulu into their more adult version of stuff.
Yeah.
So, because there's still a lot of mystery as what's going to go on with Hulu right now. But with all the Disney Plus details coming later this year, $7 a month, it'll be like an instant sign-on. Disney's projecting they'll have 90 million people signed up within 5 years.
I would believe that. Just all the parents in the world, including my sister. She just had a kid. She loves watching Disney movies. It's gonna be totally easy.
I mean, all of us that grew up with it, it'll all be there.
I totally have very much adult, non-parent friends who are like hardcore Disney fans who would definitely sign up for that.
Up until recently, I owned all the VHSs of every single Disney movie.
Yeah, same with me. I have all the VHSs. I'm going to. It's one of those things where when the new. I forget the term. It's blanking on me. Like the live-action Lion King, like the real one, that's coming out soon. That was the first movie I ever saw in theaters with my mom.
Yes.
So it's one of those things when it comes out this July, me and my mom will be going to the movies again. It'll be the first movie I went to see with my mom in so long, but she was just like, as soon as it got posted, she's like, that's our movie date. And I was like, okay. Like, that is how it is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, what's interesting to me, and kind of like a quick question for both of you, is one of the stats that's been going on is a lot of people think, some experts believe that this won't hurt Netflix that much at all. The reason being Netflix has so much like power and hold over the streaming service right now, and it is believed that when most people think of subscription services for TV, that they will limit themselves to at least 3. So if you had to choose 3 things, are you keeping Netflix and Disney? Because I think that they're going to coexist, in my opinion. But do you get rid of Netflix for Disney?
No, not a chance. Not right now. There's still too much. There's still too many things being created, in my opinion, for that to happen. And honestly, if I was to drop anything, it would be HBO.
I think, see, HBO's the one that I do drop, because HBO I only pick up in phases anyway. I'll pick up HBO for Game of Thrones, it's going on right now, and I'll pick it up for Westworld. Other than that,
And Ballers.
I'll just be real
I've actually
with
never
you.
watched that.
Yeah, it's up your alley, man.
I'm picking up and dropping whatever Dylan picks up and drops. So.
See, the thing.
So that's the interesting thing is Netflix, and this is, again, a lot of people say Netflix is in a bad spot financially, and so a lot of people say that Netflix should, 1, raise their price, or 2, get really strict on the 1 user per account thing. So if they go to that, is it something to where, let's be honest, a lot of us share Netflix accounts.
The last time Netflix decided to be a dick, what happened?
Beep.
Yeah, they lost a lot of money.
I don't know if that counts.
No, it doesn't. It's in the Bible.
Is it?
Okay.
I've been drinking. It doesn't count. Don't judge me.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, like, if you couldn't, if I couldn't use my parents' Netflix account, or you couldn't use your parents or whatever, like, is Netflix something that you would pay for alongside of Disney Plus? Because you're looking at minimum, I think it's $10 for the cheapest package, could be $9, and that gets you in the door. Whereas they may raise the price, whereas Disney is coming in and they are a hard $7, which is cheaper than most people expected.
Mm-hmm.
Their base model price is going to be $7. It's going to be the single.
It'll go up in time for sure.
It'll be the same price as Netflix with multi-viewership, guaranteed. So there's no reason for them not to be able to compete with Netflix, but they're not really directly competing because Disney's been pulling off all of their. I mean, they stopped Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones. All of those were just taken out, and Punisher. Yeah. They were all taken out, and they're not gonna go over to Disney because Netflix created them, but they don't have the rights to the names anymore. So
yeah,
they're not
it'll be that way for like 5 years or something.
Yeah, I mean they'll still be on there, but they're not gonna be able to continue with it. Yeah. But I think it's gonna be a fad. I think people are gonna get it. I think they're gonna like it for a while, and then they're gonna drop it. Because
not I.
Again, it depends on the person. I mean, if you're a person that likes to really rewatch Marvel movies, or have date night and watch Lion King with your girl on the couch or whatever.
Yo, girl.
Exactly.
You want a Disney and chill?
Disney and chill.
Dylan.
Oh, that was said here first on Happy Hour. That's so bad. Dude, Snow White. Oh my God, the 7 Dwarfs. Yeah, that thing was made in 1940 or 1950 or something like that. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's old, man.
But you know,
I'm sorry, I'm just going back to that. I do think that short term, there's just too much on Netflix that obviously wouldn't come off to Disney. They would definitely have to coexist for a while. I think who makes the screw up first is gonna be who kind of retains that, though.
No, yeah, I agree. I think Netflix has already put itself in a decent spot for it, where Netflix right now is kind of all in comedians. They're super signing comedian specials right now, which I think is a smart play.
Oh, yeah. I can listen to it in the car now and not have to actually watch it, which is great.
Yeah,
they're still getting their viewership.
You've got more kind of anime things going. So, like, I would like to see Netflix push more towards that.
And not only that, but they're doing good ones.
Yeah.
Like
they just brought Hunter x Hunter back. So, like, that's cool. I think My Hero Academia. No, that one's not on there.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, Love, Death, Robots. Awesome. They've got some of the best TV originals right now with Stranger Things, July 4th. Please come soon. They've got Orange is the New Black is always thrilling. I mean, they're knocking it out of the park with these originals.
I don't know. I just feel like...
Oh, don't forget, they've had a lot of bad ones, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Orange is the New Black is a whole different... We'll get there one day.
Have you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you don't live in this house and not watch that show unless you're Dylan.
You guys watched it? Bye.
Yeah, I was say Dylan doesn't watch much. He doesn't waste his time with TV. But we all know that there is something else happening on TV that we all want to see.
Oh, what's that?
I don't know. You're going to tell me. Some Star Wars stuff?
Star Wars stuff? Yes. Last weekend it was in Chicago. Was like this huge Star Wars festival. And there's a slew of information. Good luck finding it all. But the kind of key points I wanted to highlight were we got some big announcements that I think are super thrilling. So first we got, just to piggyback off our last topic, Disney Plus. Yep. We got confirmed The Mandalorian's coming to it. I believe, if I understand it correctly, it'll be there from day one, which is just another reason to subscribe to Disney Plus. Because The Mandalorian, while I'm not the biggest in the Star Wars universe, but like from my understanding from Dylan, who's a huge fan of that, he's really been looking forward to the story of The Mandalorian for a whole time. Yeah. Or for a long time. So
the whole time.
The whole time, his whole life.
His whole life.
Yeah. So I think that is obviously very exciting. I think it's going to cover like a different part of the Star Wars universe we don't often see highlighted. It'll probably separate from Jedis and stuff like that.
Okay.
We got a VR game, which just based off how I saw it, it kind of looks single player-esque, but it's a story around Vader. I should have had the titles pulled up because I can't remember them, but it's like Vader's invasion or oppression or something like that. But it's a VR style game where you play the role of a Jedi, and I think Vader has like chosen you, kind of like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think was the game, something like that.
There's a movie called The Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think.
You play the role of an apprentice. I can't remember. The Force that's the movie.
Unleashed.
Force Unleashed, is that the game?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the Force Unleashed game. You played the role of Vader's apprentice.
Force's Awakening?
Or the Emperor's apprentice, and you like... Yeah, I can't remember it. We got a single-player game, which was super cool, so we know that's coming. That's from Respawn Studio. So... I don't know what that is.
That looks actually, the cinematics looked really good, but we didn't see any gameplay.
The cinematics look great. I'm perceiving it to be a kind of RPG-esque game that'll be single player, so I'm hoping that it's similar to the likes of Knights of the Old Republic or even Jedi. I think it was Jedi Knight was on the regular Xbox where it was this really cool, like basically highlighted.
Xbox 360, I think.
Yeah, Jedi Knight was a really cool one. And even to the point of like the Force Unleashed, that was also, in my opinion, a pretty good RPG. So we got that. We got, if you're a Clone Wars person, there's a new season of Clone Wars coming out. I think it's like season 8 now.
Wow.
And then we got the biggest one, in my opinion, which is we got episode 9 trailer. And people are loving it and hating it all at the same time because they think it's clickbait. So the title being The Rise of Skywalker. Mm-hmm. And then the big like controversial topic with this being that the Emperor is back. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are saying, hey, we're desperate, put the Emperor in there, throw us your money. Yeah. Because realistically speaking, I mean, while Star Wars still sells well, a lot of people are thinking that they're just super cash cowing it, so a lot of people are kind of against it.
I hated 1, 2, and 3. I love 4, 5, and 6. I thought those were great movies.
Well, you're the standard Star Wars fan, yeah. But what really matters is how you felt about 7 and 8.
I didn't even bother watching them. I'm kidding. I watched 7. I didn't like Solo either. I thought that was kind of really just.
I thought Solo was like better than I anticipated, but it still wasn't like a great movie.
You didn't have very high expectations.
I had no expectations of Solo, but I also was like, I've kind of felt like an oddball, at least in our friends, where I did not like Rogue One at all.
Really? I did not either.
I was okay with it.
And you know, like Dylan, I recall him being a decent fan of it because he just liked the angle that they went with the universe. Yeah. Which is cool. I totally understand why he appreciates it, but from like a movie perspective, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So that's kind of where a lot of people go from with it. And so a lot of people think that this is like Star Wars, like big last attempt at a cash grab. Yeah. Could be cool, but it could also just be like a bait and switch. Is the Emperor really there? Or is he like a Force ghost of some way? I don't know if Sith can do that. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable enough. It'd be a great Paul topic.
Yeah, you're not kidding about that one. Yeah. We should get our Star Wars historian in here.
That's true. He was at the event, I'm pretty sure.
I wouldn't doubt it. He actually has like a full-on like Legion 501 suit. He goes around and does a bunch of really cool stuff.
My favorite is when he DJs in it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen him do that before, but that
He
would
did
be
it.
an awesome
When I first
scene.
met Paul, he was in a stormtrooper outfit. I didn't know what he looked like, and he was just DJing.
Hope he had the headphones over, and he was just like,
Yeah, I just remember going there, and Sean was like, "Yeah, that's my roommate Paul," and I said, "You live with a stormtrooper? That's awesome."
The interesting part about Star Wars to me, though, it was always about the fan base in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the story's okay. It was always whatever to me. But, like, watching the fans, like, gush over it, like some of the Star Trek fans do. I know using this in the same story is kind of like a no-no. But, I mean, their fan base actually is what drives everything. And watching their fan base start to say, hey, you need to, like, stop, figure out where you're going, and figure out why we like what we like. I mean, they should listen. I mean, they did with Solo after we didn't give them as much money as they thought we would.
Yeah.
They kind of backed off and said, no, this isn't
Yeah,
gonna
maybe
work.
we don't need a movie every year. You know, that was their approach. And it was like, you know what? There was a lot of anticipation for a long time because there wasn't a movie. Turns out, like, if you build the hype like that, people get really excited instead of just releasing something every year to fit numbers.
Yeah, well, I mean, the games industry is learning their lesson now with that, so hopefully they will too. You know who else is going to learn a lesson?
Oh, who?
OG from Dota 2 Champions.
I'm impressed you knew their name.
Yeah, man, I do my homework. And they just got schooled by OpenA1. Is that what that is?
A1, like the steak sauce? Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It was a little too spicy for him. But OpenAI, you guys have talked about this before. I don't think I've been on a podcast to talk to you guys. But they just did what is, from my understanding, their final, like, just private test with it, where they're just going to play against pros. I do not believe they plan to do this again, at least not for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So they challenged last year's international winners, OG. It was a champion pool. It was only like 17 of the heroes in the game, and there's well more than that. Because, you know, OpenAI is still a little limited. But they drafted, and it was impressive how OpenAI just slaughtered the world champions of last year, which just goes to show how fast this thing is learning. So now what they've done is they've put it in kind of like a, I guess you could call it like an open beta state, to where, like, if you want to play against OpenAI, they're down with it. You can, like, go download that and play against the OpenAI. You can play with or against the bots.
And it very specifically said, expect to lose.
Yeah.
So what I was reading in the article that you provided was that it had 45,000 days worth of playtime into prepping for this game.
Yes.
That is 123 years.
Yes. Because it's constantly playing in cycles against itself, so it just keeps learning from its mistakes.
Worth of playing the game.
It's a little unfair.
What's even more entertaining about it is that it does strategies that, like, pro players and analysts of the game just mock.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, that doesn't make any sense. We would never do that. But it's doing these strategies against its pros and it's just dominating. So one of the systems in Dota 2 is called a buyback system. So essentially, you have this stockpile of gold because you've been farming. You die, and you can buy back into the game. And there's like a cooldown on it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you spend, we'll just say it's, 1,500 gold. So you spend 1,500 gold, you gain no stat advantage, but you're instantly back into the game, and you can TP to your team and help fight again. So no pro player early game feels enough pressure to, like, buy back. Mm-hmm. They'll save their money, they'll buy an item. And so a lot of pros are, like, mocking this strategy because the bot will just, like, they'll die, and it'll just buy back and just go back to lane and continue farming, doing its thing. People are mocking it, but that same strategy integrated in just decimated the world champs. So it's one of those things where, like, if you're a pro player, you have to, like, look, if this AI bot is determining that statistically that's the best play, when could I incorporate that into my gameplay? Is sacrificing this gold now going to help me get a bigger advantage going forward? Which is very, like, interesting to see that, like, something that's been so established, that thought process is being challenged by AI. And they're bold enough to say that there's no game they can't put this in to where, like, within a year it wouldn't be better than any human could be.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bold statement, especially because the human processing capabilities are so much different, obviously, than it is with anything else. But it'd be cool to see how this would be function with, like, something like surgery. Like saying, oh, no, we're definitely going to do it this way because this would be the fastest and most beneficial route to be able to do this. And then we're like, no, we have to do it this way because I'm not going to be able to see anything. So there's always that human factor that has to do with that the robot can't.
Yeah, that's something that people were criticizing this result for, is, like, the pros didn't, like, take advantage of the AI system as much as they probably should have. Mm-hmm. Because we saw, like, when OpenAI it's been a while now, but they did, like, this 1v1 mid lane with people, and people just figured out how to abuse it to make bad decisions, and they could take advantage of it. But I imagine that the way it learns, you would eventually do that, and it would overcome you being able to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But me, like, I'm not good at DotA, but like I consider myself very above average in MOBAs. So I would love like OpenAI to come to something like League of Legends, and I would just love to square off with it. Because I feel like I make very good decisions in that game, and I would just love to see like how bad am I actually compared to something that can train thousands of years more than me.
You're definitely a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
Figure that. I think that the capabilities of what this AI is trying to tell people that it's capable of producing, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's fun that they're able to use it to play with games right now, but the implications later on are what's going to matter.
Yeah.
I really hope they have those 3 rules and put it into this AI unit. So, it doesn't want to hurt its creator, by the hand it feeds. You still need us for the electricity for right now. But I don't know. So you think that they're done with that for right now? They're not going to do any more testing with it in games?
I believe they said they're not going to do like these big stage tests.
Said that.
Yeah,
okay.
They said they're not going to do it against
That's
pros anymore.
Like
That's why they put it into like the open beta. So now if you want to go try it, or any of your friends, go download it, do your thing.
They had
Their feelings were too hurt.
There was that AI that they used with I think Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Jeopardy, and I think it ended up crushing the champions that they were testing it against. That was kind of sad.
Man.
That's awesome.
But computers are always watching.
Tiger Woods versus AI golf bot. Let's see it.
It's like playing that role game, and you just have the computers. But with computers, it is kind of scary, and you got to watch your back. And right now, we got other companies that are kind of doing some shady stuff. You want to tell us about Facebook, Krystal?
Yeah. So apparently Facebook made it known before these VR and these new VR headsets by Oculus, I believe. Well, yeah, Facebook owns Oculus, obviously. Yeah. Apparently, their new headsets have not yet been delivered to customers. Some little, what do you call it? Easter eggs accidentally made it from development onto the actual product. So it has been boxed and everything. They have not yet been shipped to customers, but they're not taking them back or anything. They're released. Some of those being the statements just joking around with each other, being Big Brother is watching, which that most people were okay with a lot of the statements that were on there, a lot of the jokes that were in there. That one seemed to be a little bit controversial just because obviously coming from Facebook, it's a little bit creepy.
Accidental.
No.
Right.
It's more like a disclaimer.
Yeah. Like, hey, Zuckerberg, this unit's for you. Let's remind them. This is our little inside joke, buddy.
I mean, anybody with a, sense of humor would find this funny, but at the same time, like, with someone like me, I'm like, that's funny, but also creepy. Thanks, though.
Yeah. It is. I think creepy was one of the words that were put in the article. So these basically got, I think, printed on like some of the wristbands of the controllers. So it's actually a very physical thing that you're seeing. Yeah. I think one of the things was a joke. It said, "Hi, I fix it," or something. So I don't know. It was. Again, I can see why some people would feel a little bit controversial on the whole Big Brother's watching thing.
They better not find anything in the Oculus that does anything other than what it says it does, or I swear to God, people are going to flip out.
It's definitely one of those things where, like, Facebook, you have this very interesting history right now, and, like, you didn't help your case right here. You're just like, you kind of like Outlook, who just like, it was like just the other day, Outlook's like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, like, Facebook's messing up. Yeah, all your emails have been hacked for like 10 years, but don't worry about it. It's cool. and they're just like, yeah, but look at what Facebook did.
Snitch.
We're okay.
The interesting part about like Facebook and Oculus and everything else, and with all the spying stuff, now we're just putting something with a helmet that covers your eyes now, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's just going to be listening and watching what you do, even in the virtual world.
I feel very bad for the people who feel that's controversial. I whatever. I'm on social media and I'm everywhere on the internet. I know people are watching. I don't care.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's not a big
Google
deal. You know what you're
knows
getting into
all
when
of
you're
us
buying
right
something
now
with a
too much.
microphone
So.
nowadays.
Yeah. So there's so many people out there that just make it their life goal to find everything there is to find. Just ridiculous things anyway. So let's be real.
I can't wait to hear Alex Jones spin on this. I'm down.
You know what? You know what? My favorite thing about Alex Jones is that song he made, and I feel like people could do a lot more with that on stuff like maybe Twitch Sing.
Oh,
Bro,
What?
that was epic.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
really? So Twitch Sings. Apparently, they have partnered with. I'm not even going to attempt who that other company was.
I believe it's Harmonix.
Yes.
Oh,
There we
okay,
go.
that makes sense.
Yeah, not that it was a hard word or anything.
They also did Rock Band, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine. So Twitch Sings just Twitch just released their new game, Twitch Sings, which is basically like a karaoke type game. I just actually I logged into Quit My Day Job stream yesterday, and that was the commercial that played beforehand. So it looked really cool. I had heard about it. I guess they already have the beta released. I think you had mentioned before, but that just came out maybe a few days ago. And it seems really cool. So I think it's it's pretty much just karaoke. It's pretty simplistic. I don't know how else to explain that. You're just singing for a bunch of people.
It's a cool way for people to express themselves, though. Especially openly.
Yeah, what I find interesting about it, I have a friend that was in the beta for it, and she streamed it a good bit. Shout out Valhallery. But she... essentially, it's a good way to interact with your fans, especially if you like to sing, because they can, you have it's like 1,000 songs or something, but you can be in there with your viewers. They vote what you sing, and then you sing through the song. And have you played Rock Band?
Yeah.
So very similar to how the Rock Band track is. It's similar. But then afterwards, you can go back and watch highlights because it records your voice and your singing, and you can highlight meme parts of yourself, so it really makes sharing the content very easy as well.
Oh, cool.
So you're singing, and they're just I want to listen to how I sang this part, and so then you can just right after the song, you just click back and boom, listen to yourself sing it and how you sounded with the song.
Okay.
So it's a neat interaction thing, but then also it's just I think there are a ton of singers on there, and you don't have to have obviously, the better quality mic you have, the better. But you can use it with just a standard Astro headset, whatever you stream with. You just sing it into it and just do your thing, man. Have fun.
Yeah, so I would see people doing American Idol. I don't even think that show's on anymore, but shows like that. And they're yeah, just check out this Twitch stream. You can see me singing here, and then you can do auditions that way. And they can be super specific. You don't have to travel to do it.
I think about it was Justin Bieber, I believe, back in the day that got discovered with YouTube. Mm-hmm. Some future amazing singer could be discovered through this.
Look what a mistake that was. I'm just kidding.
We love you, Justin.
Yeah, she might love you.
Hey, bro, I'm down with Bieber. I swore for the longest. I still stand by it. If Bieber straightens up, he'll be one of the greatest hip hop artists in the world moving forward.
Yeah, right now that man thinks he's king.
Yeah.
But as we know, we don't know which one's going to be king yet in Game of Thrones.
What?
Tell us about that.
So, everybody was so excited for Game of Thrones to get released yesterday.
We waited till 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
We did wait till 9 p.m. And I'm actually kind of sad because I did not find out about this article until the next day. But it got released 5 hours early? 4 hours early. On HBO Now.
Nope, DirecTV.
No, it was that
DirecTV Now. I knew it was now.
Yeah.
I was talking about HBO Now earlier. Sorry.
So it got released apparently 4 hours early on DirecTV Now. So there were some spoilers early on.
So glad I didn't look at the internet.
Dude,
You and me both, man.
I was on the internet the whole time before that. Never saw a single thing. Never saw anything.
Dude, they must have literally went on the defense with that and just started going to Twitter going, destroy anything Game of Thrones, hashtag, I don't care what you have to do. Told HBO, convince them, we messed up.
It's crazy just how big of a blunder it was, because it's just it's one of those things where the way I perceived it was, you're just strolling along and you're talking with your friends. You're hey, bro, I'm super excited for Game of Thrones tonight. You coming over at 9, and then boom,
Nope.
notification from your phone.
Yeah.
DirecTV Now. Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1 is available to stream right now.
Snooze, you lose.
Let's go, bro. Can you make it right now? No. Peace.
Can you imagine if anybody like straight up streamed that like on Facebook or something like, or I don't know if you could without
So
getting
they
shut down.
did what's even crazier. They released the episode, but they didn't have they didn't have the title name or anything on there. But it was only through DirecTV Now, which the reason you didn't know about it at 8:30 when I first saw that article is because I don't have DirecTV Now.
Yeah, no kidding. Right?
Wah, wah, wah.
But I just think it's such an interesting blunder, like how careful HBO typically is. So they're like next time they're gonna be like, "Hey DirecTV, you know how like we don't partner with those Dish people? We're gonna reconsider that."
Probably like some video game companies in Walmart Canada.
Yeah,
Just not wanting to give them any info.
It's true. Oh man, yeah, I remember that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season, that one. But we'll talk about that for our topics. That was
The important.
Good job.
I didn't
Look
know
at that
there was
opic.
another one.
He's gonna zone in on that one.
I just watched this Krystal
Theodore
like slowly
Harrington the
got
third
shot.
is not happy with you right
Yeah.
now. Collinsworth the third. I'm sorry. Theodore Harrington Collinsworth the third.
Just watching Crystal's face evolve as we proceeded, and she was just, oh no! It was like the Pikachu meme.
There was no coming back. I was like, it's halfway over. Nope, it's gone.
Well, I mean, all right. Well, so let's talk about it. Game of Thrones. What were your feelings? Likes, dislikes?
I'll let you start,
I'll
Krystal.
let you start first.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want to listen to you right now.
And we're gonna be
Ladies
listening
first anyway.
all night long. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would have been more excited had I been able to watch everything all over again beforehand because
I can see that.
it was off for so long that I literally forgot everyone.
Yeah.
I barely, and everybody looked different to me. So I don't know. I think there were a lot of cool parts. But I guess, I don't know. There was so much hype around like it starting that it got me too overly
Too
excited, and I was
Yeah.
just expecting way too much. So, but I think it was good though. Overall, I think it was really solid. Just not quite what everybody's hype made me want it to be.
I agree with the hype scenario. I think I got a part of that too, doing the death pool stuff and just everybody talking about it, get super excited, and it definitely put me up on a pedestal that was a little too high for my liking.
Yeah.
What about you, bud?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I agree that it was overhyped, so it did take away from some of the feel of it. But that's just because like you're with your friends and you're like, yo, who's gonna die? This person's gonna die. This is how they're gonna die.
Yeah.
I bet they die like this. You know what? Let's have a contest with it. See who's right with dying. And then you
Sociopathic.
yeah, and then
Let's be real. Who created that?
yeah, and then you get into the first
George
episode,
Railroad Martin.
which the first episode for me, I loved it. This first episode did everything that I thought it would. The only exception being I thought that they would kill a major character. So for anyone that hasn't seen the episode yet, we're gonna talk about this episode. If you don't like spoilers, I don't know, jump somewhere else.
It is what it is. You're the only one that hasn't yet.
Or
Go
stay
ahead
and
and
hate
do
your
that.
life.
Yeah. So I thought that they would kill a major character in this episode, which they killed a like semi-important character, I guess, in the kid,
I
because
didn't
he's been
remember
around
who
for a
he
little while.
Yeah.
But they didn't kill anyone major, which was like I think the only thing missing from this episode. But everything they did here, I see a lot of people like associating this episode as a filler episode, and I would argue that the people calling this a filler episode don't know what a filler episode is.
They need to watch some animes, and I can
Yeah,
give you a couple
because,
of episodes what filler episodes look
Yeah,
like.
because a filler episode essentially has like nothing to do with the story. It's just there to like it tells a separate story entirely. It's just hey, we didn't finish this
nothing
part
to do
yet.
at
We just
all.
got to get you something for the week. Whereas this was more of like I guess I could just describe it as like
It's a preamble.
the band's back together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
everyone's
It kinda set it
coming
back up.
together. You're telling the story before the fight. The fight will come.
We're filling in the holes. We're filling
Yeah.
in the holes that we were looking at and wanted to make sure that we got everything, all our ducks in a line, because everybody's super on, like, in queue with this show, with the story, really.
Yeah.
Both book and show, because they want to see all the details. They look at everything as a whole, because everything is a giant puzzle that everyone is trying to figure out. Everybody wants to be right.
Which I think they did very well this episode. If you look at previous seasons, we would have had one episode for like Jon Snow and Dany, and then another episode for the Lannisters. And they were just like, hey, we got 6 episodes. We got to tell a lot of story. This hour is our storytelling. Everyone's coming together. This is how everyone got from point A to point B.
Looks like Jon and Daenerys. Make it a quickie.
Yeah. Like, hey, guys, do your deed, but, like, Jon, don't have stamina this time.
I mean, can you with a dragon watching you?
The way that he's like...
For Dany, a dragon could watch me all day. I'd be down. But it's just like, I think they told the story very well. I think they brought everyone together. They set up some points. We will probably still, my prediction is for the second episode, there will probably still be a bit more story to tell, build up.
Yeah.
As of right now, I'm feeling strong that episode 3 will start conflict. If they go to where episode 4 is conflict, which we've all seen the run times, those ridiculous. Are the longer episodes. I could see why that would happen. That the last 3 episodes are your longer ones. They're your hour 15, hour and a half episodes. So you probably want more conflict and quick things there. But I do feel that if this show is going to end on a strong point, that they need to start just slicing characters down.
Mm-hmm. Well, because let's be real, you didn't kill really anyone major. We still have a lot of major people to kill.
We haven't had a major death in a while. I mean, to some people, Littlefinger's a major death, but I think it's kind of secondary.
Death because he had his throat slit.
Yeah,
it was a much needed death.
But we really haven't seen a significant character from the story die in a while.
He straight up sold Sansa into sex slavery with a sociopath.
But he loves her.
That. It's a weird form of love.
He's different when you guys aren't around, honestly.
He only hits me that hard when you're here. So bad.
Yeah, so what do you guys think is going to happen? Where do you think we go from here?
I think second episode is you're going to start seeing conflict, and you're going to start seeing more of the resolution towards probably midway of third, and going back into King's Landing by fourth, a resolution by sometime in fifth, and then in sixth you're going to see the ending resolution, the send off, the setups, the Easter eggs, and everything else going on, the wrap up and story holes. Tell him, Enzo.
Now featuring our dog.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
No, I can agree. There are some people that theorize that, and I hope it does not go this way because it would be alarming. So there are some people that theorize that the first 3 to 4 episodes will be all of the White Walkers if they're going to beat the White Walkers, and then the last 2 episodes will be taking back King's Landing.
Yeah. I foresee that kind of happening on the 5th episode.
I didn't really follow that.
So
try again.
So what people are what some people are theorizing is that the first 4 episodes, maybe 3, are going to be everything to do with fighting the White Walkers. If the White Walkers are to be defeated, I'm of the pool that the White Walkers win. But then I also hold strong to my theory of the only way in my mind that they lose. So people think that the first 4 episodes will be everything to do with the White Walkers, whether they get wiped out, Jon Snow heroically sacrifices himself, becomes the Night King, and leads them away so they can focus on King's Landing, which is kind of the theory that I subscribe to. And then the last 2 episodes will be everyone from the north going down to slay out Cersei and her people to take the throne. That is the theory that some people have. I'm of the opinion that I hope that the North kind of gets stomped, wiped out, but they have to retreat back to King's Landing, and then they all hold and fight, and White Walkers win or lose right there.
Well, there's definitely going to be an exit strategy. So, I mean, you already got Yara coming up on the Eastern Seaboard. They were talking about having an exit strategy, and Reek. I don't think he's Reek anymore. I guess he's going to be.
You're talking about
Greyjoy again.
Yeah, Euron. Isn't his name Euron?
No, that's the uncle. Theon.
Yeah, Theon.
Only name I remember.
No, yeah, Theon still has to arrive there, so that'll probably happen next episode.
Yeah, and then
he just dies on the way.
I think I chose him at one point in time. I wrote his name down as Reek, and I was like, but he's not really going to be Reek anymore, probably. But they already have an exit strategy kind of coming up. They're hinting at the exit strategy away from Winterfell, going back down towards King's Landing, which they're going to run into Euron, Greyjoy, and I think that you're going to find that episode probably 5 and 6, or at least episode 5 and 6 is going to be taking back King's Landing, whomever it is.
I think within the next 2, maybe 3 episodes, I think Dany dies.
Yeah.
Oh my God! How dare you?
I mean, I'm telling you, yeah, I totally agree with him on that. I had that strong feeling in my gut.
So they're already doing this whole thing with the first episode where they're like going backwards and kind of like recreating scenes they did. So like Dany and Jon riding into Winterfell. That's the first season with the Lannisters riding into Winterfell, and then with Dany and Jon at his old hunting ground, no one would ever find us here. We could stay forever. Is a recreation of the scene he had with the Wildling girl in the cave of, I don't want to go back. We can just stay here. And then she dies. So, like, if they're still doing this whole, like, recreation and foreshadowing, then they just recreated, copy-pasted that scene from the cave to Dany. Does Dany then die in a couple episodes? So that's, like, they kind of set the stage for that. They also set the stage for Arya to play a far more significant role. From what I originally thought that the paper she gives Bran, I think his name is, she gives him to make a weapon. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought because it's in two pieces that it was some kind of like projectile type thing. Mm-hmm. In looking at it and then also looking at the trailer, I think it is a spear that can detach into like two single hand weapons. Yeah. Is what I think it is now, which Dylan I think actually said that beforehand. I thought it was some kind of projectile, which I thought would have been cool because I was like, Arya's about to snipe a dragon out of the sky. That'll be sick. But then, it's a spear. Also sick because I think Arya's just going to become this little weapon.
Whatever that thing that she has, I think she plans on killing Cersei with it. I think she's going to end up using her skills.
I just want to know who Arya's going to kill.
It's going to be Cersei, I think.
I mean, that's the only person she wants to kill.
Anymore. Hound, she gave up wanting to kill the Hound. She found him. She goes, "You're a piece of dookie." But whatever.
Yeah, but that's just like
he actually helped her cope in a way, which was kind of cool.
But then if she kills Cersei, then you lose out on like the other prophecies of like Jaime being the one to kill her or Tyrion being the one to kill her.
Save them for the books, man.
I don't think either one of those are gonna kill her though.
I think Jaime has a high possibility to do so.
I do too.
You're the Kingslayer and then the Queenslayer.
Oh,
I definitely think
you saw Dude Man get the crossbow to kill probably most likely Tyrion, since Tyrion killed his father with a crossbow. The whole she wanted to bring it back. She wanted it to be poetic. And if Jaime finds out that happens, he's probably gonna knock her out.
It's one of those things where you can just see stories kind of like they were here in the past and then we're in similar arcs over here too. And it's one of those things where I just find it hard to see where like maybe Jaime and Bran talk and they like have this like whole conversation. Bran's like, "Bro, Cersei's not coming. I know she told you that." And he's like, "Well, crap." But then Jaime is then like, "Well, I don't remember if Jaime knows that she's pregnant." But then Jaime's got to go back and be like, "Hey, you're crazy. I didn't want to kill the king, but like you're going down the same path." And he slays the queen. He's a Kingslayer and the Queenslayer. It would make sense from like the way they seem to reflect story arcs. But that's kind of been my thing for a while. Is that too cliche? Does it happen? It wouldn't be against Game of Thrones theory to not do it, but I just think they do.
Everything seems to be cyclical. Like, they keep trying to bring everything back. Like, Jaime seeing Bran and, like, looking over his past decisions and bringing everything back into Winterfell, back into that one moment where, like, this is a major turning point, and he's got to,
But you don't think that's what they want you to think, and then they're just going to turn your whole world upside down at the end and just do something completely stupid and take everybody off?
I don't disagree. That's like the Clegane Bowl or whatever, the Mountain versus the Hound. Some people are like, we want this to happen. Does it ever happen?
Well, I mean, he's in Winterfell now, and Dude Man doesn't like fire, and he runs away every time he sees it, so...
And there's about to be a lot of fire.
Yeah, so there's a good chance that he might end up running his butt all the way back to King's Landing. But I feel like they've set up quite a interesting like montage of things to happen. So you got Viserys there, you got Tyrion, you've got Daenerys. You got a lot of big people in one house. Someone's going to end up having to leave at some point in time. Yeah. Who's going to stay? Who's going to be important enough to leave? We'll find out. But I think Daenerys is going to end up eating it either at Winterfell or in the battle trying to take King's Landing.
Who is your like bold prediction death?
Like for the first death?
So like, we've already
we've
already had it, but like just someone that like.
Oh, that kid doesn't count, does he?
Like
yeah, he was in our pool.
Yeah. Oh, he was?
Yeah,
he's a semi-important character.
Into picking him because I suck.
So like for me, I'm a believer that Jon Snow is going to die.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Whether
Definitely.
he dies in battle or, to my theory that Jon Snow is going to sacrifice himself and become the Night King, I'm sure there are many people that think Jon Snow will live and take the throne.
He's
So, like, who's
just-
the one character that you think will die?
Everybody loves him, and he's nice, and he's good, so he is going to die.
Yeah.
That's
A
an easy
horrible
one.
death.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna die.
Well, I mean, there is definitely as soon as Tarly told him, hey, you're the son of a Targaryen, and your mother was a Stark, like you have royal, like you're the crown, and he goes, that's treason. You can't be saying things like that. And to him, that's like, there can only be one. She's not going to want to be queen and take second place to the king, whom she is related to, by the way.
Yeah.
That wasn't me throwing up in my mouth.
So, I mean, I think that one of them is going to have to die, whether it's Jon or Daenerys, in order for that resolution to occur while trying to get
Do
into
you think
King's
that they
Landing.
both die, though? Because I think
What
Dany is
if-
You
like...
think it's going to be a Romeo and Juliet thing?
No,
like
I
that.
think
Like,
that
I just think they both die.
by your logic of the foreshadowing for what happened in the past kind of thing and them riding into Winterfell, that makes her more in the role of Cersei. And Cersei, obviously, we all hate because she's a terrible, evil human. Khaleesi is becoming more and more of a beep.
Oh, she's definitely starting to become a lot more mature in her want of becoming a leader.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so she's becoming a lot more that way, and we all know John's gonna die because he's too freaking nice. So
What can I say?
part of me thinks that maybe Dany's actually gonna be the one to kill him. She's gonna turn into a kind of Cersei-esque role. She's gonna sit on the Iron Throne. Maybe, I don't know.
So your prediction is Dany will take the Iron Throne?
Well, is that what I put in the poll? I don't know. My thought changes every day. But right now,
Well, all of my speculation is
kind
mainly
of.
just wanting people to be alive. Like, but my real, I expect everyone to die. I think the White Nightwalkers win.
Yeah, I think it'll be that ending as well. I think that the White Walkers will be too overwhelming. I mean, before it was like they have dragons could obliterate them, but then we see the Night King in like one spear throw kills a dragon. So it's like, do that 2 more times, bro. Like, we're on even footing.
yeah.
So like, does that actually happen? I mean, I wouldn't put it past George R.R. Martin.
And you got a bunch of ships out in the ocean just literally going to be pegged off. That's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, it bothered me. So the one thing that I thought about all day long at work was the fact that I don't remember her name, but the Greyjoy girl saying that yeah, we need to give them a place to fall back to, somewhere where the Nightwalkers can't get. They have a dragon. They literally have a dragon. They can go anywhere.
I don't think that's knowledge to her though.
Oh,
I think they
well,
don't
that
know
makes
that yet.
sense.
Well,
You
also,
just
I don't
Sure.
even know that they know that in King's Landing.
there was that prophecy where they showed like the snow on the inside of the throne room and everything else. I mean, we all know that Cersei's going to blow that thing up as soon as she's about to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to blow up King's Landing and everything underneath of it with Dragon's Breath. So that's how pretty much everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
And then it's probably going to kill the Nightwalkers too. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like an extinction level thing.
Dude, if Cersei doesn't die, I might murder someone.
So if so,
She cannot live, or it's going to be a bad
So
place.
let's just pose this question then, mainly from me and you, because she's kind of answered, but you as well. If the White Walkers lose, who gets the throne? Who do you think gets the throne?
Tyrion.
Oh, that made me so happy.
So Tyrion is who I put in my death pool to get the throne. I think that would be like a nice ending to it. I actually would not be surprised if it was Sansa or Arya.
No one ever thinks about dude man from Baratheon. It starts with a G. Gardy. He was the son that wasn't killed from Cersei's first husband, the Baratheon.
I thought that was, for some reason, I thought that was Bran, but I don't know.
No. Bran is the Stark. The Raven.
Oh no. The Hammer bro. What's his name?
Yeah, the Smith.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Okay, him. So that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh,
Starts with a G.
yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
his name right
For
now.
some, it's like Gendry. I don't know.
Gendry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good call, bud. Look at that.
Yeah.
On the spot. No one ever talks about him. No one says anything, but he did show up in Winterfell. So I'm like, okay, so he's going to be an important part here. He's smithing the, I guess it's not it's dragon glass.
Yeah.
So it's Like, is that his only usefulness, or is he eventually going to be like, no, I was originally supposed to be now because everybody else is dead?
Yeah, that's what's interesting with that character is, like, I feel like there's maybe some people that have read the books. I've not read them. Maybe he, like, has a huge role. To me, he's just, like, this character that was forgotten, just like you said. So, like, he could just come full circle and be like,
death.
And they're like, who do we know that, like, should have the throne? And he's like, hey, guys, like, just so you know, I've been here the whole time. They're like, oh. You do it then. You did good things making weapons.
Well, like, they're saying, Jon Snow, you have the right because you're a Targaryen. And I'm like, well, technically the Baratheons were the last one to have the throne, so Gendry would actually have the right to the throne. Yeah. Which I think in the end, it's going to be some, like, ipso facto thing where everybody looks at everything and goes, well, technically it's him. And then you're going to see, you know, Jon Snow go, whew, good, I don't have to do that. Yeah. And move on with his life.
I also would love I would love to see how they do the ending, where they do this ending where, like, everything's tragic and lots of people died, White Walkers lose, whatever, and it's like 4 people, and they're like, you know what? Like, let's just do away with the Iron Throne and, like, live together in peace. Wouldn't that be, like, way better? Because they wouldn't have to worry about some jerk sitting on the throne.
Is, like, King's Landing is supposed to be, like, the fort that has enough food to last the winter, and to watch winter coming into the throne room means that something catastrophic definitely happens. Yeah. So it's going to be quite the war that happens at King's Landing for sure. There is a massive battle that is going to happen at King's Landing.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they get decimated in Winterfell or they fall back enough to be able to start their war. Yeah. Which, man, that's going to be rough. But
I agree.
It'll be fun times to watch.
Ooh, I'm excited.
5 more episodes?
Yep, 5 more.
God, I can't believe they're only doing
5
6.
more Sundays.
It blows me away.
Sunday.
Yeah, George R. R. Martin said that for them to fully capture everything from the books, they would need 6 more seasons or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to tell the story.
And they're not even being detailed at this point.
And he also said that the ending that will happen in the show is similar to the ending of the books.
I think the end game is going to be similar. I think how they get there is what's going to be different.
I agree.
And that's where people are going to really enjoy the story.
Yeah.
Because it's the same as what happened in the show and the books now.
I think that kind of ruins the books, though. Like, really. if you watch the show and you know what's going to end.
So you know, like, let's just say hypothetically the White Walkers win. Then you know, reading the books, that a similar ending, the White Walkers win, but the cast of characters within the books is so different. Yeah. That it's like a whole other story.
And vast. Like, they've even combined some characters.
Yeah, I could see how most people who would read the books would still be captivated. I don't think I would, just because I'm not a reader, I'm an audiobook listener.
But you can do it. They have them on book.
It's much more to me like, I got to get to the ending. What's going to happen? You got to keep me and if I know what's going to happen, then I'm like, do I really care how we get there?
I agree with that. I think it was weird that, but maybe he did that because he's like, yo, guys, like, I may never finish these books. So, by the way, like, the ending's similar, but that also leaves the thing of, like, it's similar, but, like, that also says, like, hey, it's similar, but it will be different.
Right.
To kind of entice you.
Right.
So, well, it's been fun to speculate.
No, for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot going to go on today, so yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Maybe we'll have a little bit more of a discussion on that here soon.
For sure.
So I guess that's gonna take out our.
Is that the end of the tots?
Tots.
So
that brings us into
last call.
Last call.
I tried to do it like Mark. I don't know if I did it well.
I'm waiting for that bell to fall off of the wall.
Oh no! I secured that bad boy nice and tight.
That's like the least that bell's ever been rung to.
Oh, I was trying not to be too bad because I know they have to turn it down every time they spike it on the.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's what Mark said. But so we got some shout outs. We got Season 2 Strange Gaming Challenge.
Yes, Strange Challenges Season 2 is coming up. We have a new editor that's going to be helping out with this one. Shout out to Rex. Woohoo!
Oh, that's
awesome. His name is Rex.
Yes.
Did you find him on Twitter, Twitch? How'd you find him?
I did. I actually think he was recommended to me by Quit My Day Job, a.k.a. Clark.
Oh, cool.
So he's been awesome. Really excited to get him involved. I think it's definitely going to help me out a lot. Obviously, I'm still going to be your hostess with the mostest, but I'm really excited. We got quite a few changes coming with this season. That's it.
I'm excited. Hopefully, I get to play some of the games that you guys are doing the challenges with. I just haven't been on a Call of Duty kick lately. There's been too many stuff going on with Division. I can
Apex. Oh, but you play
is there anything,
PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
It's on there too. Is there anything you can tease? Are there any?
Yeah.
Are there going to be new challenges that you? Are you still in figuring all that out?
Yeah, we're still in kind of a planning phase. Dude, this is going to be the last time you see me with real hair. So
What?
So my attire is going to change a little bit. My persona a little bit, but challenges are going to be pretty similar. It works for us right now, so I think we're going to we're going to kind of stick along the same outline. It's going to be similar, just graphics and stuff. A little bit of that's going to change. Obviously, editing style is going to change a bit. I am going to be more involved on Twitch because I'm going to start streaming again. So I'm going to be involved with you guys.
What is your Twitch URL for everyone listening?
Oh, Queen Krystal. Wait, the whole URL?
Twitch.tv/HTTPS
//
Yeah. Queen Krystal. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll be returning. Do you know what you're going to be streaming yet?
I'm going to mainly be playing high-res games, so Smite, Realm Royale for the most part, maybe a little bit of Paladins, and then I'm going to be grinding whatever the game of the month is. This month I'm going to be doing some grinding of Borderlands, and then I think, next month, whatever.
Whatever game comes.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Whatever's to be.
Yes.
And also we got a shout out to our Xphobiaa.
Yep.
He's doing really well right now. He's surpassed how many subscribers do you have now?
So 1 million or something like that.
He's doing great.
He has over doubled me.
And then just like another shout out, a dude, I always forget his names, but it's Brent's brother.
B Scotch and
Dots, man. Dude, I've been tuning into him some. Like, he's got a good stream. He's coming to my stream some. I'm streaming the game of the month right now, so when we play it. So, I mean, he's come in. He's got good commentary. And then, of course, like, the biggest shout-out is just the community. Yeah. Our community is always growing. We've got several new streamers that have joined our Discord that are in there a lot. You know, I know my buddy Kevin's name, Stubadub, but I can never remember Brian's name. But they're always streaming, like, Lord of the Rings MMO. We've got Xphobiaa streaming. We've got, I think you hung out with him at PAX. Nick Lavitt is streaming a lot. I don't know his name in there, but
Resilience was at PAX.
I mean, we said we've had a lot of good interactions going on, so I just hope we shout out to you guys for making it all possible, and let's keep it going.
Very well said. I'm still jealous I didn't get to go to PAX, but I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Next year.
Yeah. Hey, Hi-Res Expo in November. What?
It's in Atlanta, right?
That brings us to the question of the week, provided by our big man, Kepley.
I'm the big man? Yeah. I'm the big man?
You're the big man with the big truck.
Now, on this camera, I look like the real big man. So, this question comes from myself, because, you know, I didn't do any research to see if our community asked. Sorry, still appreciate you. But if you could become a character in any cinematic universe, that being like Harry Potter, Marvel, video game, whatever, which universe would you join? And what role would you want to play in it? You could be a superhero. You could be a civilian. Just what would you want to do in there? Start with John.
I should start with you since it's your question, so I can think about it.
Me.
I know.
I hesitated.
Well, are you ready or no?
I'm not ready.
Okay. Are you?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to be Queen Cersei.
The very best.
Say that. So I can say, if you want a slut, buy one. If you want a queen, earn one.
Oh my God. I'm coining that. I loved it.
You should. That
awesome. Was amazing. God, I hate everything about her, but man, I loved that. Yes, I want to be Khaleesi for her hair. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I like her robe. I don't know if that's like weird for a dude to say. She had a cool robe.
It looked so warm. Yeah. No, I would want to be, maybe this is weird, I would want to be Neith from Smite because, oh wait, I have to tell you why? Why not? Or you had to say the
Well, you're in the Smite universe. It's fine.
I'm in the Smite universe.
You're a goddess.
It would be nice to know why, so it's not like we're just wondering.
Because, well, I've got like 17 reasons.
But her biggest one is she wants to leave her friends in the jungle to die and not follow them when she asks. When her friends
honestly,
I feel some anger here.
I was going to end with because I'm scared of everything, so I can hide in my base and snipe people and not get killed. But also because she has really cool outfits, big boobs, and great hair.
I like
The
it.
whole package.
Good enough for me.
The coup d'etat.
You sold me at Big Boobs.
I don't know. I've always been impartial to Iron Man. I've
I
always
like
wanted to be
him.
able to wear a suit, but not have like any like crazy augmentations like Hulk or anything like that. But still be strong, still have high mobility, high intelligence, and kind of act like a playboy anyway.
So you want one of Dylan's suits?
Yes, I'll do that. I could wear like I don't know, what does Dylan's suits look like? They have America all over the place and like star stripes.
If I find one of those in his closet.
I bet you it's already there.
Yeah. This is such a
But I've always
tough
been
question.
impartial to man. I just he's able to fight. He's able to be eloquent. You know, he can handle things and be funny. He can be serious. He's got a large dynamic of ability, and he's also paranoid like I am too. And it's the reason he made all those suits to be able to even take down his friends just in case they went crazy.
I think that I would, depending on how the season turns out, my answer could change. But I think that I would really like to be in the Game of Thrones universe
You're suicidal.
Bold.
because I like. It's just something where, like, even through my childhood, I just like really appreciated like the Roman and the Greek age with like sword and shield fighting and like melee combat and the strategy that went into that. Whereas like I'm not as big of a fan as like I'm gonna stand in this ditch and shoot you from like a mile away or something ridiculous. I just like the combat. So I think that like being in that universe, live or die, I would enjoy the combat aspect of it if I was in that situation. But yeah, I'd totally like to be like I don't know, like a. Can't remember what's the Redbeard guy's name?
Tormund.
Tormund. I think like I would be really good with the wildlings. Maybe like unfortunately the Night's Watch, where I'm kind of like this outcast. Like, but I'd fit well in those universes. I'm not like good at talking to girls anyway, so like I don't need that skill. I
Just
can
hang
fit
out
in
with the guys.
Yeah, like just hang out at the Night's Watch. So like we can talk about football games or whatever they talk about there.
I will say that like I think the real world like. Tormund would be like brutal. Like he would be like knocking his own people out on a regular basis.
That's fine. Like as long as I'm one of Tormund's homies, he's not gonna kill me. We're down. But like if I'm against Tormund on the battlefield, nah, I don't want to be that guy.
All right, there you go. I had another one. I guess it was kind of like more of like a dream, like Indiana Jones, like going to figure out puzzles, going into temples and finding out like secrets and stuff, or like even Nathan Drake from Uncharted, something like that. A little bit of action,
exciting.
But it's mostly about like figuring out the puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Only if I'm Kratos or his son do I want to be in the God of War universe.
Yeah,
Everyone else dies. So
every god gets pummeled to death in
Yeah.
a weird fashion or another. Yeah.
So if I'm Kratos or Loki, I'm down.
Yeah. No, those are brutal deaths. I don't know.
Oh, speaking of which, that got announced. Yeah, I totally forgot about that in my news article.
You got what?
They're gonna do in Disney Plus. There's a TV series of Loki that's coming.
Oh, that's
No
awesome.
way.
Yeah, I
Oh,
forgot all
that's
about that.
worth the $7.99 or $7.
Like I said,
or
I think
whatever.
you guys are gonna go all in, and after 2 months, you're gonna be like, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, but it's month to month, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. Let's check it out in a couple months and see where you're at with this Disney Plus. It's coming out in May.
November.
Oh, November. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it's pretty long way away.
What's the likelihood of you subscribing and me watching?
Pretty high.
I will for sure be subscribing. This will be the easiest $7. It comes out on November 12th.
Well, I think that wraps it up. Everything up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments below. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah, that was just for you, Mark and Brent. I was trying so hard not to do that, and he had to ruin it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, stay strange.
Stay strange.